It's actually been around 21 months since this album was released, so I thought it would be the perfect timing for me to revisit I'll Put You Misery by TUYU. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about TUYU's second and most recent album, I'll Put You Misery. This is actually perfect for me because I not only have I not listened to TUYU, but just J-Pop as a whole in a while, so I'm going to revisit an album that I personally absolutely loved when it first came out. But yeah, this is pretty self-explanatory. I'm going to go over each song one by one, talk about my personal thoughts on them now, if they've improved or worsened in my eyes over time. Just talk about this album as a whole, and also just simple overrate and Pusukun for like 20 minutes. And just to clarify, I will be going through these tracks with the release order, like the actual order within the album itself, and I won't be including Greed and Autumn Rain Front because those are like just two instrumentals, which means that Dominance will be our first song. Dominance was actually the first TUYU songs I ever checked out on camera. I think it came out in May of 2021, and I thoroughly enjoyed it when I first checked it out. Most of that's because of how unique and different it is compared to most TUYU songs. I was actually surprised when I first listened to it because TUYU always made like hard-hitting music when it came to like instrumentals, the themes behind it, just how meaningful they can be. But Dominance, on the other hand, was like a lot harsher than most of the songs prior of its release. The theme behind it is like different. I don't want to say cool because like this song is like literally demonic. Dominance like translates to demonic in German, I'm pretty sure. Just look at the character, listen to the song, watch the music video, like it should be obvious enough. Dominance definitely is like lower on my TUYU list though. It's a song that I actually like loved when it first came out, I would say, but then it kind of, I wouldn't say died down on me. I just have other tracks I prefer over, but at the same time that doesn't downplay how good it is. I don't know if I'm gonna do this for every single song, but if I had to put on the tier list, I probably would put on A tier, and I think that's that is the spot that I placed it at within my TUYU tier list video. Next we have Trapped in the Past. Now if you've watched any of my tier list videos in the past, or if we actually know each other IRL, you probably know that this is my absolute favorite J-pop song. I mean, just listen to it right here, like everything about the track, the instrumental, the vocal, the amount of times it changed throughout the whole entire track. There was just so much for me to like about this track, which is why it's still as my favorite J-pop song, like from the moment I started J-pop to now. I don't know, something about this song is just like so flawless to me. There's been occasions where I've recommended J-pop to people that that isn't into J-pop, and normally I would recommend Trapped in the Past or Odo by Ado, or like maybe Kaibutsu by Yosu. Those were my go-tos at the time. I don't know, I feel like all three of the songs I just named are all not only top tier, they introduce who the artist is, shows off the music pretty well, and they're also like not too different to the point where they're gonna scare people off. But yeah, Trapped in the Past, definitely a top tier song. I would put this in like triple S if I had to. It's like consistently stayed as my favorite song throughout like these 2-3 years. And number 2 we have What If This Isn't a Safe. Now with this song right here, I actually had to re-listen to it because I just did not remember anything about it. But yeah, What If This Isn't a Safe, I absolutely love how funky the song is combined with the pacing, the way it transitions from the beginning to the verse to the chorus and to the refrain. They did all of that perfectly. Like this definitely is one of TUYU's most regarded songs, most loved songs, but like it's top tier and honestly flawless in its own ways. Like it's very different compared to TUYU's most regular tracks, and it also has like top tier production. Like I previously said, the pacing within the song is absolutely amazing. They're able to keep the audience like in check, interested, because of how fast paced and complicated it is. So yeah, What If This Isn't a Slave, I would probably put this above, down, actually around the same. Like both of these songs are like either mid or high A for me, but definitely not good enough to join S if I'm being honest. But the next song on this list is definitely S tier, maybe even higher than that. We're talking about Loser Girl. Loser Girl is not only one of the best tracks from this album, but it's also just one of my personal favorite TUYU songs as a whole. Similar to what I said about What If This Isn't a Slave, the pacing within this song is absolutely amazing. The way it starts off with a cool intro, and then immediately we're met with this like fast tempo verse. But my favorite thing about it has to be the way the instrumental and the vibe switches with the mood of the track. Like most of TUYU's tracks, Loser Girl is I wouldn't say it's as heavy as most of the other tracks, but it's about a girl who worked really hard as an idol but unfortunately failed. And throughout the song there were many like different conversations, different dots being put into it, some lighter, some heavier, and the instrumental will like align with those ones, switching out, matching it perfectly. I would definitely put Loser Girl in my top 3. It's not number 1 because that has to be Trapped in the Past, but number 2, number 3 definitely viable. So yeah, it would make a lot of sense if I put it in triple S tier because three S's for 3 songs, and there's another song on this list that's joining that one soon. Bathing in the Rain, another one of those tracks that were released like I want to say way before the album. Actually it kind of is. It was released in June 26, 2020, but the best song of this track has to be the instrumental. Like I forgot what spot it is. I think it's right before the chorus, the verse before the chorus, where like the piano, everything in the background just starts going crazy. kind of similar to what I said about Lose Ago. I mean, it doesn't exactly depend on the mood of the song, but when the instrumental in the song wants to be calm, it's like really calm. Like when it first starts off, the verse after the chorus. But when it gets crazy, it goes absolutely fucking berserk. Baby in the Rain is definitely one of those songs that I don't have too much to say about though. Like it just fits the criteria for a top tier TUYU song perfectly. Like, you know, top tier instrumental, top tier production, top tier vocals, just everything about it is top tier. So yeah, that makes it S tier, and then we're greeted with another hot hitter right after that, which is Hachi. Now obviously I had to do a bit of research to prepare for this video. Most of it was just me watching the music videos again, and I'm actually surprised of how little views Hachi has. Like, it's technically the music video with the least views in this channel. I don't really know why. Hachi is an absolutely amazing song to me. There's probably something about it I don't know, because it kind of dropped out of nowhere. It's very different compared to most TUYU songs, with the meaning of it, with how the song is as a whole. All of that aside though, Hachi is probably my favorite TUYU track distribution wise. It's also very lightly, like they're introducing us to not only the character but also just the whole story behind it. And then it gets sort of fast paced during the first chorus, kind of goes down again, had a solo part, and then like the ending is absolutely erupts with emotion. This in a way is the most emotional TUYU songs. Now TUYU is known for making a lot of emotional songs, mostly with like personal meaning, personal things behind it, with like certain, I wouldn't say mental problems, but things that people can relate to from personal experiences. Luckily, I don't relate to any of them. I definitely understand, you know, what they're about though. But Hachi, on the other hand, is like an official story about an official dog that anyone can look at and be sad over. But yeah, Hachi actually like really grew on me over time. I, you know, liked it when it first came out, but like something about it just like hits even harder now. Hachi is in contention for the final spot on the top. There's another song on this list that's also in contention for it, but when it comes to like just the song as a whole, how much I enjoy and how much it means to me personally, Hachi probably takes it over the other song. It means that it will join Lose Ago and Chat in the Past and the Triple S2. Next we have Territory Battle. When I first checked out this album like on camera, I think I openly said that Territory Battle is probably TUYU's worst song, and I'm pretty sure I also had it ranked the lowest on the tier list video that I did, and I still think that in a way. I obviously wouldn't say Territory Battle is a bad song, it's definitely not, but it probably is TUYU's weakest track. If I remember properly, this song was actually created for a game that released around the same time. And I don't know about you guys, but whenever I hear like a song from an anime or like a game, I'm just sort of like, oh, okay, I see now. I'm obviously not saying songs within those media are bad, but sometimes like when it's specifically made to be a part of it, it is kind of like, you know, like what level. I feel like what I just done right here describes the track perfectly. Good for what it is, but doesn't seem like something that should be taken seriously. But Territory Battle definitely isn't a bad track, but it's also going to be the only track joining B tier on this list. And B tier isn't even that low. B tier is like legit above average to me. So, you know, TUYU's worst track is an above average track. You know, wow, that's terrible, right? Next we have Hide and Seek Alone, and I honestly don't have too much to say about this track. Like legit, all I jotted down was similar to Baby in the Rain, and do prefer the piano solo over the guitar one though. There's definitely like similarities within the two tracks. I would say that both of them, I wouldn't say like prioritize instrumentals more than everything else, but they're all like instrumental heavy, especially Baby in the Rain. And I would even rank them the exact same too, like similar to what I said about Baby in the Rain. They both fit the criteria for a top tier TUYU song, but I just don't have anything to say about it for some reason. It's just like good, it's really good, but that's it. So yeah, it would only make sense for me to put this right next to Baby in the Rain. Next we have a fucking banger though, Being Low as third, taking what's important for me. I feel like this was a lot of people's gateway TUYU song. It came out during August of 2020, which was when like J-Pop started booming again. But yeah, Being Low as third is actually TUYU's second most popular song view wise. It's right behind Compare Child. Like I previously said, this song is a hard fucking killer, mostly due to how outstanding it is and the message behind it. I think this is a track about a girl getting cheated on. I'm not completely sure. I haven't watched the music in a while. I just rewatched it, but it was kind of confusing if I'm being honest. I will probably put this track either in the middle or like the top of S2. I'll definitely like, you know, reconsider afterwards. I give you guys the official list. And finally, we're at the last track of this album, which was actually the most outstanding track to me when this album first came out. We're of course talking about If There Was an Endpoint. This is the track that's in contention with Hachi for the top 3 spot, and you know, it's actually very hard to choose because both of these songs are just so good. In a way, If There Was an Endpoint is the best song on this album simply because of like its production. Similar to what I said about Lose Ago, I absolutely love love how Endpoint is able to like shift from a heavy mood to a light mood so continuously, so effortlessly. And I don't know about you guys, but my first listening experience to this track was absolutely fucking crazy, especially the part where Buzz came in. It just felt so cool to me because every TUYU fan knows Buzz. Buzz was my gateway TUYU song. Yeah, it was actually my gateway J-Pop song in a way. And like the meaning, the message behind the song, the fact that this is like actually the endpoint, not only for the characters, but like this era of TUYU songs. And also it has one of, if not the best final chorus of any TUYU song. Like just listen to this right here. If there was an endpoint, it's definitely triple S tier, and in a way it probably is the best song on this album. But I don't know why I just can't put it over the 3 previous ones that I chose. Endpoint might be better than every single song on this album, but when it comes to just simply listening to the track, how much I enjoy them, I do have a few that I would put over, especially, you know, like Trapped in the Past and Loser Girl. And it's very close with Hachi in this track though. But the second single track in this album though, I'll Put Your Misery, came out in July of 2021. And it was actually like especially hyped up for me because I'm pretty sure Drop by Minami also like came out 2 days right before. So it was actually like a crazy week for me because not only were my favorite artists dropping something new, but it's actually like a full release this time. And if I get to say on it, both of these releases did not disappoint me. I definitely would put I'll Put Your Misery over Drop. I've made a video on Drop before talking about how it might be like Minami's worst project. I'll Put Your Misery on the other hand is actually like one of my favorite J-Pop albums though. There is one single thing that I don't like about it, and honestly J-Pop as a whole, which is the fact that over like half of these songs were released before the album drop. Now don't get me wrong, I definitely get where the artist is coming from. Like TUYU had Trapped in the Past, Loser Girl, Baby in the Rain, Being Low as to Hide and Seek Alone, which were tracks all released from like 5 to like what 14 months before the drop of the album. Dominance came out like 2 months before, I think. So yeah, I definitely get where they're coming from with that, because you know, like they're putting songs that were previously released that's not attached to anything into an album because they just don't want it sitting there. But at the same time, at least with me, I'm just so used to like the majority of albums, like more than 80% of the songs being like new releases within the new albums. Like there's obviously teasers, there's pre-release tracks to kind of bring traction to them. There's obviously doesn't downplay how good the album and the songs can be, but I was actually kind of disappointed in the first listening experience because I was like, okay, TUYU new album, let's go look at it. Oh, I have to skip over half the songs because I already know them. Like if we remove the songs that most of us probably knew, combined with the instrumentals, we're only left with Territory Battle, if there was an endpoint, and what if this isn't a slave. There's a possibility that people don't know Hachi because it was released like a week after that, which I definitely do get, and Dominance was also released 2 months before that, which, you know, I'm not gonna complain about as well. So that makes it 3 to 5 newer tracks depending on if you know Hachi or Dominance, which, you know, isn't like a bad amount, but on paper this album has 12 songs. So yeah, in a way it didn't feel like a full release because I knew majority of it, and you know, granted the newer tracks were all really good. Like I just said though, I definitely get where they're coming from, and this doesn't change much at all really, because you know, all these songs are good. It's just like the first listening experience could have been a bit better. All of that useless stuff aside though, I'll Put Your Misery is definitely a top tier album. If I had to give it a rating, let me do some math real quick. Give me a second, please. Most of the songs on this list were like 9.5 and above. What If This Isn't Safe was 9.3 to me. Dominance was also 9.3. And I'm pretty sure it was Territory Battle, which I gave her 8.5 to. That kind of just brought down the average score. But as a whole, I'll Put Your Misery is definitely a top tier J-pop album. Also one of my personal favorite albums as well. So yeah, there's that. I know I haven't exactly been uploading too much J-pop content recently. The last one that I uploaded was the Minami one. And I definitely do want to get back into the game. I don't know. I'm a person that just doesn't like to force things to happen. Like for example, there's a few ideas I've developed of, but they actually require a lot of time. I don't know if I even want to do them. This right here, I was just like, okay, TUYU, I want to check them out again. So it just kind of happened out of nowhere. But like I previously said, I'm hungry as fuck right now, and it's actually bulking season right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go make some good food and eat all of that. Peace out.